Good morning, everyone. Earlier in first part of agriculture, we had read about what is agriculture and factors influencing agriculture. Now, we will discuss about types of farming. The types of farming practiced in a particular place, as you have seen, by various factors on the basis of geographical conditions, demand of the products, labor and level of technology, farming can be classified into the following types. First is subsistence farming. It is carried out by a farmer to satisfy the need of his family alone. They use primitive methods to produce variety of crops. The labor is provided by the members of the farmer's family. All type of manure and a little fertilizers are used. The production generally low, therefore farmers are poor and their standard of living is low. Shifting cultivation is mainly practiced in the forested areas and are generally regions with heavy rainfall, that is, Amazon basin and parts of Africa. The land is cleared by cutting and burning bushes and trees. The farming methods are primitive. After about 2 to 3 years, the soil loses its fertility and becomes unproductive. Then the farmer shifts to another path of forest. This method is called slash and burn agriculture. It is known differently in different places like Zoom in northeast India, Ladang in Indonesia and Malaysia, Changing in Philippines, Milpa in Central America, Konuk in Venezuela, Roca in Brazil, and Mesol in the Congo basin of Africa. Nomadic farming refers to the practice of farming in which herdsmen move from one place to another with their family and their livestock in search of pastures, fodder, and water. The seasonal migration of the herders along with their cattle is called transhumance. Nomadic herding is practiced in the arid and semi-arid regions of Sahara in Africa, Central Asia and some parts of India like Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir. Camels, sheep, yaks and goats are the animals that are commonly reared. These animals provide milk, meat, wool, hides and other products. In early times, people used to move from one place to another as food gatherer, hunter or shifting cultivator. When the farmer learned to maintain soil fertility, he settled down at one place and adopted the technique like crop rotation to conserve soil fertility. He also developed simple tools for cultivation and started rearing cattle. He also developed some cottage industries based on local raw materials, and these activities supplemented his income as a settled farmer. Intensive farming. In this type of farming, the farmer tries to get the maximum possible output from a small plot of land. The farmers use simple tools and abundant labor. Mostly, this type of farming is practiced in densely populated countries of the monsoon regions. Due to fertile soil, farmers is able to grow 2 or 3 crops annually: rice, wheat, maize, sugarcane, pulses, and oilseeds are grown. Next, in commercial farming, farmers cultivate crops and rear animals for sale in the market. The main motive of the farmer is making profit. The farms are generally large and investments are high. Most of the work on the farm is done by machines. Important reasons where commercial farming is prevalent are North America, South America, and Eurasia. In extensive farming, it is mostly practiced in the sparsely populated areas where abundant land is available. The land holdings are usually large and farm work is done by machines. 1 or 2 commercial crops are grown, and most important crops are wheat and maize. The total output is high, but the yield per hectare is low. Mixed farming refers to the cultivation of food crops, fodder crops, and the rearing of livestock. Cattle are reared for milk and meat. It is mostly practiced in Europe, Eastern USA, Argentina, New Zealand, and South Africa. The farmer follows a well-developed system of crop rotation which help in retaining the soil fertility. Efficient method of farming, quick means of transportation, and ready market ensures good return for the farmers. Plantation agriculture was introduced by the Europeans in their colonies situated in the tropical regions. Plantation agriculture is a type of commercial farming. The farms are called estates, are very large. Large amount of capital, cheap and skilled labor, scientific techniques, transport network, and marketing skills are employed. Mostly, single crop is grown like tea, coffee, sugarcane, banana, and cotton. The plantations are managed like industrial units. Major plantations are rubber plantations in Malaysia, coffee plantations in Brazil, tea plantations in India and Sri Lanka. The rearing of cattle on a large scale on the outskirts of the cities to meet the demand for milk and animal products is called dairy farming. Dairy farms need a large labor force to look after the cattle. At present, machines are widely used for milking, feeding, and cleaning the cattle. Thus, huge capital investments are needed. Dairy farming is mainly practiced in Australia, New Zealand, Denmark, and Netherlands in Europe. In India, a white revolution was started with the setting up of cooperative societies for dairy farmers. It started with Amul in Gujarat and soon spread to all the other parts of India. Now questions from the chapter. First is write the main features of different types of farming. So subsistence farming, its main features, three main features are: farmers use primitive methods of farming to grow crops. Labor is provided by members of the farmer's family, and mostly manure and a little of chemical fertilizers are used. Next is sedentary farming. In this, farmers settle down at one place and carry out agriculture. Crop rotation is done to conserve soil fertility, and farmers use simple tools for cultivation. Main feature of intensive farming: farmers try to extract maximum possible output from small plots of land. Farmers use simple tools and a lot of human labor. And farmers grow 2 or 3 crops annually on the same plot of land. Now the main feature of extensive farming: it is done in large land holdings. Farm work is done by machines. 1 or 2 commercial crops are grown. Features of mixed farming: crop farming and livestock rearing are carried together. Fodder crops are cultivated along with food crops, and crop yield is high. Now main feature of plantation farming: huge farms or estates are required. Second, efficient and scientific farming methods are used, and cheap and skilled labor is required. Now short question is, what is dairy farming and what are the factors favorable for its development? So the rearing of cattle for milk is called dairy farming, and the factors favorable for the development of dairy farming are existence of natural pastures, availability of large labor force to look after the cattle, machines for milking, feeding and cleaning the cattle, and huge capital investment. Long questions. First is, name the different types of farming and explain any 2 types of farming in detail. So different types of farming already we had read in the chapter: subsistence farming, shifting cultivation, nomadic herding, sedentary farming, intensive farming, commercial farming, extensive farming, mixed farming, plantation agriculture, and dairy farming. So they are the different types of farming, and you can explain in detail any of these farming. Now write a short note on nomadic herding. Nomadic herding is usually practiced in arid and semi-arid regions of Sahara, Central Asia, and in some parts of India like Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir. It is a means of subsistence for nomads, and in nomadic herding, the nomads move with their domesticated animals such as sheep, goats, camels, and yaks in search of pastures. And the seasonal movement of the nomads along with their cattle uphill during summer and downhill during winter in search of pasture is called transhumance. Next question is, distinguish between intensive and extensive farming. So first difference is, in intensive farming is usually practiced in the densely populated countries of the monsoon region, while extensive farming is mostly practiced in sparsely populated areas. Second is, in intensive farming, the land holdings are small, while in extensive farming, the land holdings are large. In intensive farming, the farmers use simple tools and abundant human labor, while in extensive farming, The farmers use machines instead of human labor. In intensive farming, due to long growing season, 2 or 3 crops can be cultivated on the same plot of land annually. While in extensive farming, due to short growing season, only a single crop can be grown annually. In intensive farming, rice is the important crop cultivated, while extensive farming, wheat and maize are the important crops cultivated. The last point is, in intensive farming, the total output is low, but the yield per hectare is high. While in extensive farming, the total output is high, but the yield per hectare is low. Thank you. I hope you understood the chapter.